Psora manifestations, planets and houses, mental restlessness and anxiety. Mental restlessness and anxiety are central characteristics of Psora, which can be linked to planetary energies that influence the mind and emotions. Restlessness may emerge from overstimulation or imbalance in planets governing mental faculties, communication or nervous system regulation. Key planets. Mercury governs the nervous system, intellect, speech and thought processes. When afflicted, e.g. in difficult conjunctions or positions, it can result in overactive thought processes, nervousness and mental instability, all contributing to restlessness. Moon controls emotions, the mind and sensitivity. A weak, afflicted or malefic moon can lead to emotional instability, anxiety, insecurity and mood swings. Rahu-Saturn aspect. This combination, especially when involving the moon, leads to mental agitation, unknown fears and deep-rooted anxiety. Key houses. First house, ascendant, governs overall personality, mind and psychological well-being. The presence of an afflicted Mercury or moon here can lead to nervousness, restlessness and anxiety affecting mental health directly. Fourth house represents the heart, emotions and peace of mind. If malefic planets like Rahu or Saturn are placed here, especially if in conjunction with the Moon or Mercury, it can lead to emotional instability, mental restlessness and anxiety. Sixth house. This house relates to stress, struggles and mental anxiety. If Mercury or the Moon is afflicted here, the native may face persistent anxiety, nervous disorders and psychological strain. Moon's Mercury afflicted. This conjunction can result in mental confusion, overthinking and anxiety, contributing to mental restlessness, as Mercury stimulates the intellect while the Moon amplifies emotional reactions. Moon's Rahu-Saturn aspect. When Moon is conjunct Rahu and aspected by Saturn, it leads to deep mental agitation, unexplained fears and anxiety, as Rahu amplifies mental tendencies while Saturn adds fear and suppression. Insecurity and fear of failure. Psora is also associated with deep-rooted feelings of inadequacy, insecurity, and fear of failure, which stem from emotional vulnerabilities and a lack of inner confidence. These traits can be linked to specific planetary energies and their interactions in the chart. Key planets. Saturn. Saturn's influence can bring about feelings of inadequacy, fear, and pessimism. Its malefic influence can make a person feel limited and insecure. Moon. When the Moon is weak, afflicted, or in difficult conjunctions, it can contribute to emotional insecurity and fear. Rahu. Rahu creates illusions and increases irrational fears, particularly the fear of failure or loss. Key houses. First house. If Saturn or Rahu are present in the ascendant or affecting the first house lord, it can lead to insecurity, lack of self-worth, and a pessimistic outlook on life. Second house. The second house governs speech, self-esteem, and how we express our values. If malefic planets like Saturn or Rahu afflict this house, it can contribute to feelings of inadequacy and fear of criticism or failure. 10th house governs career and social standing. An afflicted 10th house, particularly with Saturn or Rahu, can bring fear of failure and insecurity regarding achievements and social recognition. Conjunctions. Saturn plus Moon. This combination can create a deeply pessimistic emotional state, making the person prone to insecurity, self-doubt, and fear of failure. Rahu without Saturn aspect. Alone. This combination leads to emotional oversensitivity, overreaction, and amplification of fears or optimism, but it doesn't always manifest as deep-rooted insecurity unless Saturn's aspect adds suppression. Hypersensitivity. Hypersensitivity is another hallmark of Psora, both mentally and physically. This can manifest as emotional overreaction, extreme sensitivity to criticism, or feeling overwhelmed by life's challenges. Key planets. Moon. As the emotional center of the chart, an afflicted or weak moon can make an individual overly sensitive and reactive to emotional stimuli. Venus governs comfort, sensitivity, and affection. A challenged Venus, especially when under the influence of Saturn or Mars, can result in extreme emotional sensitivity and withdrawal. Rahu's Moon. When combined without malefic aspects, this combination amplifies emotions excessively, making individuals hypersensitive to minor situations, often reacting with extreme optimism, delusion, or emotional outbursts. Key houses. 4th house. This house governs emotional security and happiness. If the moon or Venus is afflicted here, particularly by malefics like Saturn or Mars, it can lead to emotional hypersensitivity and a lack of inner peace. 12th house. This house governs the subconscious, sleep and isolation. If afflicted, particularly by the moon or Venus, it can cause hypersensitivity to environmental changes, emotional instability, and vulnerability to psychological disturbances. Conjunctions. Moon plus Venus. This combination, if well placed, can make an individual emotionally expressive and sensitive. However, if afflicted by Saturn, Mars, or Rahu, it can lead to emotional hypersensitivity, where the native becomes too vulnerable to external influences. Moon plus Rahu, without Saturn aspect. Rahu amplifies the moon's emotional sensitivity, causing over-amplification of emotions, overreaction to emotional situations, and excessive optimism, especially when Jupiter is involved. However, it doesn't necessarily create deep-rooted fear or anxiety unless Saturn's aspect is present. Emotional optimism despite adversity. Psoric individuals often maintain a sense of hope and optimism despite their struggles. This resilience can be linked to certain positive planetary influences that balance out the negative ones. Key planets, Jupiter, represents optimism, wisdom, and hope. A strong Jupiter can provide a sense of faith and resilience, helping the individual remain optimistic despite adversity. Sun represents vitality and confidence. A well-placed sun, particularly in favorable houses, can enhance inner strength and optimism. Key house governs faith, wisdom, and higher beliefs. A strong Jupiter in this house can give the person an optimistic and hopeful mindset, even when facing difficulties. 5th house, associated with creativity, intelligence, and positive emotions. A strong Sun or Jupiter here can enhance emotional resilience and optimism. Conjunctions, Sun plus Jupiter. This combination is highly beneficial for emotional and mental strength. It can provide a person with the ability to see the positive side of life and maintain hope, even in the face of adversity. Moon plus Jupiter's Rahu, without Saturn aspect. Rahu amplifies the emotional optimism of Moon and Jupiter, leading to over-optimism. This combination may cause individuals to overlook practical limitations due to their overwhelming hope or enthusiasm, potentially leading to unrealistic expectations. Summary of planetary influences for Psora, mind and emotions. 1. Restlessness and anxiety. Afflicted Mercury, Moon, or conjunctions like Moon plus Rahu Saturn aspect in 1st, 4th, or 6th houses. 2. Insecurity and fear of failure. Saturn's presence or Rahu's influence in the 1st, 2nd, or 10th houses or conjunctions like Saturn plus Moon. 3. Hypersensitivity. Afflicted Moon or Venus in 4th or 12th houses with conjunctions like Moon plus Rahu without Saturn aspect or Moon plus Venus afflicted. 4. Optimism despite adversity. Strong Jupiter or Sun, particularly in 9th or 5th houses, or conjunctions like Sun's Jupiter or Moon plus Rahu's Jupiter, over-optimism without Saturn's aspect. By understanding how these planetary influences manifest in different houses and their conjunctions, we can better comprehend the mental and emotional manifestations associated with Psora and how they reflect in the astrological chart.